I give a lot to what I have now, you know, because of you and the conversations that we have, you know, outside of this and all the, you know, criticism and everything, you know, so I just want to make you proud. So
I looked, October 28th is when I paid for it, and I probably started the class the 30th, and I think I finished around like right before Thanksgiving, so like November 21st, 23rd when I finished the class. Like I set up and ready to go, like, and one of the guys said, hey, like, how long have you been doing this for? And I was like, I got my certification about 2 months ago, bro.
That's what's up.
And he's like, where'd you go? Like, you know, like, what school? And I was like, Byron Rodgers, Executive Protection Training Day, bro, you know, like, and he's like, you learned all this? He's like, is it like hands-on, you know, like all this kind of stuff? And I said, Byron's hands-on, and he, you know, like I talk to him on the phone, I talk to him on Instagram, we have Zoom calls and stuff like that, but like really it's just the way that he goes about explaining it, and like all the information like isn't just one big fat like mind dump in a one-day classroom. Like you have access to it anytime you need it, you know? So like I told him, like I was in my hotel room last night before I even got here, watching, you know, like I'm watching the modules and going over my notes and everything, man. And you know, like that's how I got ready.
If you're a good cop, you can make the transition, because a good cop knows it's community first and you're serving people. Correct. If you have that mindset, you'll win at this game. But I'd say the benefit of the program for me, and I was fortunate, man, I literally, he said, put 3 eggs, I put 3 eggs. He said, get a red pen, I got a red pen. And the door opened up, started running details, went on tour, and I was with the guys that had 15, 20 years in the game, and they were looking at me like I had 15, 20 years in the game, because I did. I had somebody over my shoulder, you know, and I tell people this, and as he's dying, I literally verbatim memorized his script for the FBO. And that's what I did at my first FBO. And I walked in like I knew what I was doing, and everyone was like, oh, hey, how you doing? I did. Well, I mean, literally what he said verbatim, and it works. I think I'm telling Elizabeth, it's just follow the steps, man. He says it. If you do what I do, you'll have what I have.
Because of this program, I do have a job, and I really feel like going back 5 months, if I was to apply for the same position, between my application and my ability to speak confidently about my position and the things that I can do, I don't think I would have it.
It's all possible. And I must say, guys, so everybody here, we have already invested a lot of money, as you should do. But I did 2 details. I already got a lot of that money back. So even if you don't have work, just keep believing in it, do it, and you will make the money back, and invest in yourself.
I tell all the people I know that I recommend the training to that you're the Michael Jordan of EP, and you're doing a great job too with the business aspect of it too.
Everything's going well, staying busy as usual. Tired today, was a long day.
This is one of my favorite moments in these calls, right? So we go from, yeah, man, we're fighting our way into the industry, to there's always this call with like, man, I'm tired, bro. Like,
the main thing for me was you got to stay calm. Go with everything you're taught, because they teach you everything. I mean, the way that it's taught is just unbelievable. Just be calm, go through it, do everything that you're taught the way they taught you. And you should be happy with the outcome.
You know, my favorite story, my first time on an FBO, I just parroted what you said. I was like, well, it's my first time. I'm smart. I'll figure it out. I know the lingo because I know what to say. Literally said what you said, and it went off without a hitch. And it's like what I do now moving forward. It's simple. A lot of good information. If you put the work in, I mean, it's not a magic pill. You got to put the work. But if you put the work, you do what most people really don't want to do. You tell people, this is how you do it. There's no secrets. And if you bake the cake the way you say bake the cake, you'll have the results. And I joke, but I literally did everything. Whatever you said, you know, even with my law enforcement background and just what you said to do, the LinkedIn, the everything, social media, oh God. Yeah. Which it's a necessary evil, did it all. And by the grace of God, like literally 0 to 1,000. Yep. I mean, my second tour, and it's just getting bigger and bigger, and the artists are getting bigger and bigger and bigger. The best part of all this is how accessible this man makes himself. That, to me, you can't put a price on that.
A majority of the jobs I'm getting now are from word of mouth, from other agents bringing it up to their CEO saying, hey man, I like the way this guy is. He's a humble dude, you know, he's definitely hungry for, you know, better jobs. I can definitely speak that Byron is huge on giving you good tips. He definitely blasted me a little bit about my LinkedIn, my resume, and I appreciated it. It's constructive. And if he's telling you something, it's not out of hatred or just being hateful. It's constructive. As long as you can appreciate that, you're going to go far. Absolutely.
Finished up the training day modules this week, and I'm going to go back through everything again, I think, before I take the test. I have to say that probably the social dynamics and the advanced modules were probably my favorite, although they're all awesome. You know, the social dynamics, definitely life skills. I mean, not only for this occupation, but really for any. You know, I've used a lot of those things in my current profession and look forward to that stuff spilling over into the EP realm. The advanced stuff was very interesting, and I've even done a couple of like mock advances at some local venues around here just for the practice.
Last we spoke, I think I was driving in the car doing another detail, and now I got a new detail. Byron, it's so crazy to just say this. I mean, I had to turn down work for the first time.
How long did it take? Like, how long since you were like, all right, I think I'm going to do this?
I did the class in October with you. I mean, it took like a few months. Just took a few months. I remember the first call. I think we talked about it. We're like, you know, I don't even know if EP is for me. I don't even know if I can even do this because I'm a new dad. I got to be home, take care of the baby. I literally, like you and Rick said, I found a detail with really solid guys with a detail that's lasted a very long time. I got integrated on the team, and it's just fantastic. You know, you guys talk about the amount of finances you can make. Mm-hmm. I mean, I couldn't believe it. It's not to boast, but it's to just be a testimony of just putting in the work and networking and all that stuff and doing what you say. Thank God I am now in six figures, and I have a schedule where I could be home with my family for like 4 days. I can't even ask for anything better.
Yeah, I just got off an 8-day detail and worked 114 hours. We're just rolling. Me and Mo was on the team. It was great to work with my son.
That's got to be beautiful.
Oh, dude, it was awesome. Client fell in love with us, and they want us to come work for them again in Florida and Tennessee. They emailed us today and say they're going to be checking out, getting us credentials for Florida, and they want to see us again. And we told them about you, Byron. We said we was trained and we're mentored by Bravo Research Group, Byron Rodgers, and they love it. And we told them all about the training day program, hard skills, immersion course. I was working side by side with the head of security for these families, and he goes, I'm going to look at it. I'm like, you won't be making a mistake. Send your guys.
These guys are prior military guys. They were open when we started the detail, saying that like the only EPS experience they had was doing PSD work.
Yep.
But they really just got thrown in with this family, and coming to San Diego for 8 days was their first movement, first time ever, like with both clients.
Right.
And so they were constantly picking me and my dad and everybody else's brains about, you know, how do motorcades work? How do we move this? How do we do an advance? What's an advance? You know, like all these things. And we were just like, hey man, like, you know, like you guys have a good deal here where this client likes you guys and is willing, you know, like one of them said, like anything that like you guys need, like I'll pay for it, like whatever you guys want to do. And you know, like, and I said, hey dude, like Byron has an amazing pipeline. I said, you look at his videos, take that over to a client, and like you guys could be completely squared away and have somebody in your corner like Byron to help you guys now like navigate running your own detail. Because me and my dad don't have that experience, but Byron does, and he can help you further because you guys got thrown literally into the fire.
Guys, just do what Byron does. He gives you what you give, see what he sees, and people will gravitate to you once you're approachable, professional, polite, and apply all the skills. They're going to come to you.
First and foremost, man, I want to say thank you for everything you've done lately. We just got an opportunity with Vigilant, my man Josh, who contacted us like maybe an hour ago for a workplace violence. It's going to be paying like $60 an hour. And I'm just going to say that's like literally the most money I've ever made. I've been doing this for 6 months, going through your training courses, brother. Thank you tremendously. You've changed my life.
And I'll tell you a little thing that happened, because after I went through the protective symposium, I went back to the company I was working for, gave them a copy of my credentials to them and what we did there. Next thing I know, I got a call from the CEO of the company, and I became the driver. Instantly.
Boom, just like that.
Just like that. Hey, the Byron Rodgers name's getting out there. People recognize, so it's definitely a good thing, man. It's definitely a good thing. Can't thank you enough, man, putting this program together and helping so many. Great, man.
Everything you speak is golden, so whatever you tell me to do, I'm doing it. No questions asked. So, bought the tickets, went, got hooked up at the party that you had after. Yep. Met a bunch of great people. I met Dustin there. That's how I got hooked up with the UFC gigs. So all great work. And I'm just getting in. Realistically, my first gig was I had one thing with you in December, and then everything picked up in January. So I'm only really like 2 months in, and work is pretty steady. I'm not even like hitting up the other 3 companies that I'm signed up with right now. Literally no complaints. And to add on to what Mark was saying, where people are going to hunt you down and say, you know what, you're my guy here. The reason for that, unfortunately, in this industry, I've learned very quickly, there's no standard. And so you have people all over the place. You have people with lack of training, wrong training, bad attitudes. And so being part of the league, that's where we're building the standard in the industry. And so everybody who has the league behind them branded, you're going to learn how to set the standard, and people are going to see you right away, and that's going to stand out to them, and they're going to want you on their details. And so being part of this community is huge for everybody here.
A company that I work for doing driving, I sent him my certification that I got taking the course. And so another gentleman that he had that was supposed to do a detail with a U.S. congressman got stuck in bad weather. What had happened, he saw that I was certified, and he said, listen, he goes, do you want this detail? And I said, absolutely. I meet the congressman's driver. He gives me the itinerary of the day. And you know what? I was on point with everything. The doors, holding various items for him. It worked out extremely smoothly. At the end of the night, or just about before the night ends, he goes, listen, we have to go to Gracie Mansion and see the mayor of New York City. It was like, listen, just from a certification that I got, people are recognizing this, and then they're calling me and saying, hey, listen, do you want to do this detail with a congressman? And I'm going to the mayor's office, hanging out at the mayor's office. The training day was a phenomenal package. I would recommend that to anyone that is interested in EP work. Obviously, at some point, I will make it out to do the hard skills, but time and time again, soft skills, guys, that's where it's at. I mean, as Byron says, soft skills get you paid and paid and paid. And the hard skills, if you have to use them, will save someone's life.